up on This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. The Pats are back in the win column, and we'll hear from Patriots manager Keith Fischer. It's another big performance that cements Shaun McEnheimer's legendary and game-changing status. And the judge is back, and justice will be served as the Kangaroo Court makes its 2021 debut. All that and more on This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. Here we go. Patriots fans, welcome to This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. I am your host, Chad Kurz. It's great to be with you. As you can tell from that introduction, we've got a busy show ahead of us. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right back to the field following the Patriots' 8-0 win. The cicadas are buzzing. The grounds crew already tending to the field, at least parts of it. More on that a little bit later. But first, let's get right to Patriots manager Keith Fischer. Here he is. All right, we are here with Patriots manager Keith Fischer following the Patriots' third win of the season, an 8-0, in the end, pretty comfortable win over the Gridlock. Sees the Patriots get back into the win column, 3-1 on the season. Keith, from the manager's perspective, what'd you see from the boys getting back out there and putting a solid win together today?
Yeah, no, definitely important to get a win today, especially with a week off coming up. Don't want to head into the break with a loss, and we got some tough games coming up after Memorial Day as well. So this was a game we knew that we needed to win, and it was good to go out there and execute. We only allowed 2 hits today, so it was really great to see the pitchers doing their thing.
Really strong outing from the pitchers, and maybe even more so considering you had to kind of juggle your rotation strategy and game plan even mid-game with kind of a late scratch. What happened with JD today? Yeah,
well, that's why this is such a lucrative job to be in this role. You have to make these type of in-game decisions on the fly sometimes. But no, we were able to get some extra length out of both Nick, which was good because we're going to need some length out of him coming up in June, and same thing with Will Brook. So both of those guys were actually to go 3 innings as opposed to 2, which was the plan, and it was good to see them to really get their pitch count up a little bit more. So it worked out, and we'll see JD again here in a couple weeks. I think we'll be without him for a couple weeks coming up in June.
Anything to read into there with his absence, or what can you tell us?
I don't know. We'll have to talk to him. I haven't had a chance to sit down and have that conversation.
Okay. Sounds like keeping it closed door for now. So watch this space, Patriots fans. All right. On the other side of things, Shaun McEnheimer providing most of the offense, 2, no doubt about it, home runs. Yeah. He's really swinging the bat well, huh?
Yeah, and it's great to see. He was joking around last week saying that he was going to hit one out, but he didn't do it last week, so he hit 2 today, which was it's great to see. He's been such a mainstay in the middle of our lineup for so long. When you look at the career numbers, which we have recently compiled, they're just silly. What he's been able to do, and today was just one of those days where it all came together for him, and we needed it. We needed the offense. We needed to get out to that comfortable lead that really got us off the schneid there. So can't really say enough about what he was able to do out there today.
Take us into the depths of the Patriots archives. I think it was literally as the pitch was being delivered for his second home run. You were rattling off a very impressive stat. I think it was dating back to 2013. It was something about his strikeout totals.
Yeah, so I'll have to go back check the actual at-bats and plate appearances, but 13 strikeouts for Shaun since 2013 and all of his plate appearances since that time. So that's just just silly.
So not only does he put the ball in play, but today he did so in a big-time way.
Yeah, absolutely. So going to keep that going. I mean, obviously, Shaun has had a storied career not only for the Patriots, but also for the Bethesda Barons. I think the Bethesda Barons, that's the name of their team, where he is sort of in the DC Wood Hall of Fame, which was recently inducted their first members, and Shaun was part of that first class. So it's good to see he saved some of those home runs for the Pats.
The Patriots moved to 3-1 on the season. We're off for 2 weeks. We'll come back first week of June, officially into the dog days of summer. Keith, thanks for taking the time. As always, happy Memorial Day and go Patriots.
Thanks, Chad. Looking forward to the next game.
And that was Patriots manager Keith Fischer. Always good to hear from the skipper. Fish, thanks as always for taking the time. And now let's turn our attention to today's starting pitcher. Zach Blozan had a interesting day out on the mound. Let's hear what he had to say about his performance in the Patriots win. All right, coming off a Patriots 8-0 win, pushing our record to 3-1 on the season. Here with today's starting pitcher, Zach Blozan. Zach, first of all, congratulations on the win. How'd you feel out there?
Thanks, Chad. I felt good. Get the first start of the season under the belt, and it's a nice hot day. Fastball was working. Felt like I was getting some good heat behind it, and I felt good through those 2 innings. Had a little bit of a rocky start, but I feel like I came back a little bit, and it was a good, strong team showing. We had a really good pitching staff day today.
All right, so that's all fine and well. It really felt like the outcome of the game was never really in question. The real talking point, I think, that has Twitter abuzz and Patriots fans are anxious to get your perspective on the hair. It looked like maybe it was causing some problems early on in terms of either your hat staying on or coming down in front of your eyes. Any truth to that? And did you feel like that hindered your performance out there?
Well, I'm not going to make any excuses. My hair's gotten a little bit too long, and it's messing with my hat a little bit, and that's my own fault. And, I was thinking about going and getting it cut, but just like Anthony Davis with the unibrow, I mean, it's kind of become a fan favorite, and I can't really, it's almost a source of my power in a way, so I can't really cut it at this point. The hat's just something I'm going to have to deal with, and maybe get a headband or something.
Well, it was interesting because it was a good hair matchup today. The opposing pitcher actually probably had you beat, at least in terms of length. I don't know about volume, but is there anything as you're, going back and forth, a little rivalry even with the other pitcher and at least wanting to outduel him that much more because you got the little hair rivalry going too?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's not always about length, Chad, and the rivalry with the hair, it's definitely, I'm a pretty competitive guy, and when I go out there and see the other pitchers, trying to show me up with his locks, hanging down to the middle of his back, I was always more of a flow guy myself, so when I go out there, I'm thinking, just because this guy's got a little bit of length on me, sometimes it's more about the quality, not the quantity, and definitely motivated me today. I wanted to show up and be the better hair today.
Any adjustments moving forward? Tighter hat? Maybe are you thinking about a haircut, or like you said, it's your thing. You're going to let it flow.
Well, I've only got a couple games left around here, and I think we're off to a great start this season. I feel like I've been doing as good as I can out there on the mound. I think to mess with the hair now might be a mistake. I think I'm going to have to leave it and see how the next couple games go before I head out. Hopefully, it'll keep me going the way the season has started.
If it ain't broke, don't cut it, is the moral of the story here with Zach Blozan and his tremendous flow. Zach, keep up the good work. Have a great Memorial Day. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Chad. It's great to be here. Go Patriots.
And that was Patriots pitcher Zach Blozan. Zach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Good to hear from Zach there, part of that young ascending nucleus for the Patriots. Let's turn our attention, though, to one of the veteran presences on the squad. Swung a pretty mean bat today. Of course, I'm talking about veteran outfielder Shaun McEnheimer. And he has the added distinguished honor of being the first ever game changer of the day, thanks to our friends, the Game Changer mobile app, the official real-time stat-keeping app of the Washington Patriots. Shaun hit 2 home runs today, powering the offense in the 8-0 win. Also had a catch in the outfield. He had a quality at-bat. How does that work? Yeah, it's a quality at-bat, but it went for a walk. Does that negate the quality at-bat? We'll save that question for another podcast. For now, let's get to today's game changer of the day, Shaun McEnheimer. Here he is. All right, we're here with Shaun McEnheimer, today's game changer of the day. 2 home runs, a quality at-bat that I think resulted in a walk. But let's give that a mention too. And even made one of the few plays in the outfield. So all around, heck of a game for Patriots veteran Shaun McEnheimer. Shaun, how'd you feel getting back out there today?
It felt good. That loss to the Knights really kind of put a damper on our spirits. But we did bounce back today, and I think we did all right as a team. Some people had pretty good days, but as a team, I think we all played well.
2 home runs, that is a rarity. Really in any baseball setting, let alone for the Patriots, that we think, we're checking the archives, we think that's the first time ever. Take us through your at-bats and what were you seeing up there at the plate that you were so locked in?
Yeah, I went up there with a plan. I thought I knew what the pitcher was going to throw me, but this guy was actually throwing everything that I didn't think he was going to throw, and I think I just got lucky on one of them. The second home run that I got, I kind of knew what he was throwing. He wasn't throwing much junk. He was just throwing off fastballs, and I just went up there and took the biggest swing I could possibly swing, and knew it off the bat. I think everybody knew it off the bat, and took my time around the bases. Didn't want to pull anything, so I jogged slowly and got around the bases as slowly and as quickly as I could. Defensively,
you were locked in as well, seeing the ball well from the outfield, and made a nice catch out there to help preserve the shutout, and a lot of rotation defensively for the Patriots today. What'd you see from a pretty clean Patriots defensive effort?
Yeah, I mean, the pitchers today were locked in. They were throwing great pitches. They were putting them exactly where they wanted. The few balls that actually did get to the outfield, they were pretty much lazy pop flies. We were able to read them pretty well, and a solid game defensively for everybody. We had some great plays in the infield. Like you said, not many pitches in the outfield got out there, but all around just a solid game from the Washington Patriots. Very, very proud of the way we played.
All right, now we've got 2 weeks off, the Memorial Day holiday. But you actually have bigger off-field priorities here that are likely coming to fruition in the next week to 10 days or so. In addition to the McEnheimer family, tell us about it.
Yeah, so I got my 3rd and final child coming on no later than June 2nd.
Famous last words.
Yeah. No, they're while they're in there messing around with her, they're going to tighten her up. So there's definitely no more kids coming. So this will be my 3rd personal kid and my 6th part of my family, since we have 3 other kids that we're taking care of. So I'm very excited. This is going to be a girl. Her name's going to be Shay Michelle, and very excited to finally meet this little baby.
That's fantastic. And any plans for Memorial Day weekend, or are you just kind of on baby watch?
We're on baby watch. It could come anytime between now and June 2nd. We're going to try and do something with a couple of friends. Just a little cookout, but after that we're just going to come home and watch a movie as a family and try and have this baby as soon as possible.
Are you manning the grill, and if so, what's your specialty on the grill?
No, that's a terrible
burgers,
question.
hot dogs, sausages?
I will be manning the grill. We usually just do burgers and hot dogs. Nobody really does sausages in the family, so they're kind of boring, but burgers and hot dogs and just good times.
Hey, that's what it's all about. Memorial Day weekend. Pats are off until the first week of June. When we talk to everybody next, it will officially be summer, and we'll be into the heart of the season. So stick around for more This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. But for today's game changer of the day, Shaun McEnheimer. Shaun, thanks for taking the time, and good luck with the baby and the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. You all have a good day. Go Patriots.
Hey, Patriots fans, I'm here to tell you about a game-changing way that you can follow the Washington Patriots all season long. I'm talking about the Game Changer app. It's the official live scorekeeping app of the Washington Patriots. That's right, live scores, live stats, in-game commentary, balls, strikes, home runs, every out, every close play at the plate, the Game Changer app has it all. Have a busy weekend of yard work or errands around town and just can't make it out to the Patriots game? Fire up the Game Changer app. Game Changer is your digital home for all things Washington Patriots throughout the 2021 season. It's available for iOS and Android in the Apple App Store or Google Play, and coming soon, it will be Alexa enabled. Alexa, what happened in the Patriots game today?
The Patriots won a nail-biter. Go Pats.
And right now, for a limited time, you can get 20% off any Patriots merchandise you buy through the app with promo code PATS20. That's right, promo code PATS20 gets you 20% off any single item of Patriots merchandise you buy through the app. Maybe you're a diehard who loves to keep score from the stands and you just want to double check the official book after the game. Game Changer is the app for you. Maybe you're on the road for work, or you've finally set out on that long-awaited family vacation and you're out of town but want to stay on top of the Patriots action. Game Changer is the app for you. It's got everything. This app is incredible. I can't go a single Patriots game without it, and neither should you. Visit the Apple App Store or Google Play to download the Game Changer app today. And when you do, enter promo code PATS20 for 20% off any item of merchandise you buy through the app. That's promo code PATS20 for your Patriots gear. Again, promo code PATS20 for any officially licensed Patriots gear available in the Game Changer app. One more time, that's promo code PATS20 for any Patriots gear for you or the Patriots fan in your life. Need Patriots gear? Why pay full price? Download the Game Changer app and enter promo code PATS20 today. That's the Game Changer app, and we are grateful for their support in sponsoring this podcast. I have the honor of being joined by none other than the Honorable Luke Mirabella, former judge of the Patriots Kangaroo Court. Luke, it's been a while. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chad. It's a pleasure's all mine being here. I miss it every day. You guys, you get built something special over there at the Patriots Baseball, and waking up on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. just isn't the same without knowing that there's the game I got to rush to. Happy to hear you guys are off to a great start, though.
Well, once a Patriot, always a Patriot. So glad that this forum has brought us back together, and appreciate you taking some time to dust off a clubhouse and fan favorite here in the Kangaroo Court. For those that aren't familiar, tell our listeners, the background of the Kangaroo Court as it used to be known in the Patriots clubhouse.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So we're going on. I guess this will be year 3 for you guys running the court. So the way it started, really, the Kangaroo Court is a mock judicial system. It's a way for us teammates to keep one another in check. Someone does something stupid, embarrassing, detrimental to the culture of the team, they're fined in a dollar amount, usually from $1 to $5, based on the severity of their actions. And the Kangaroo Court judge and presiding, which had been me in the past, would come up with the different fine amounts, and the penalty that one may face, so that something like that may never happen again. I guess maybe an example of a finable offense would be maybe making a phone call in right field. That might be more of an egregious fine. Not to call anyone specific.
That's I was going to say that's an oddly specific reference, as if perhaps that's happened in the past.
It has. Let the record show. I think there was only 1 or 2 pitches into the inning before the phone call ended. But Mr. Galbraith wears that one proudly.
Wow, we're naming names.
He knows.
I like it.
I mean, you're just coming from the guy who tried to steal third, slid into the bag, only to get up realizing that his wife's underwear was still laying on third base, left over from the laundry the night before. So it's really
that was
really nothing holding anything back here.
That was an all-timer. So well played. So in now this iteration of the Kangaroo Court, of course, you've unfortunately left for, we'll call it greener pastures. You're no longer in the DMV area, but appreciate you're still following the Patriots from afar. So, of course, you're not there to be able to witness some of these offenses as they were, but still there's no more keen legal eye than your own that we would like to tap into. So there are actually 3 offenses as identified by the team this past weekend, and we wanted to play a little game of sorts where we'll recap each of the offenses, maybe have a little banter. Certainly would like your legal opinion on the severity, what have you, of each of the offenses. And then, as any good Kangaroo Court should, we'll look to you to dole out the appropriate fines as you see fit. So,
yeah, let's get after it.
All right. Well, here we go. In no particular order. And first, we'll start with Sunday's starting pitcher, Zach Blozan. We heard from him earlier in the podcast. He couldn't keep his hat on his head, whether it was pitching, whether it was just fielding a routine ground ball from the mound. It was all over the place. It was really kind of an embarrassment. So that one jumped out for all that could see. Zach needing a haircut, but also taking great pride in his hair. So there's a delicate balance there. But whether it's a uniform violation or a personal hygiene violation, there's an angle or two there to dissect this one. Any immediate thoughts after hearing Zach's segment and initial thoughts on this potential violation?
First off, how much blame are we putting on the defendant versus the equipment? Because if it's a hat issue, if it's an ill-fitting hat, maybe we can take that up with Game or Nike or New Era. But if it's the player who repeatedly is making the offense, how do we feel about that? Is the hat too tight, too big?
It's a good clarifying question. I'll say this: one, it is not a Patriots issued hat. So one, okay. It's not part of the official uniform, and two, I mean, my take on it is, as you walk out the door or step onto the field, like you know your own equipment, and if if your shoes don't fit, and you get blisters because your shoes don't fit, I feel like that's kind of on you. You should know that. Same thing, if your hat doesn't fit and it's going to fall off in the middle of the game, I feel like you should know that. So I think there needs to be some personal accountability here for young Zach. But there's certainly many different ways to slice it.
No, I agree completely. I think it was Spider-Man's uncle once said, "With great power comes great responsibility." I think we can apply the same to hair and flow. With great flow becomes the responsibility to take care of it, to protect it, to get a correct fitting hat that allows you to pitch in it.
With great flow comes great responsibility. No truer words have been spoken by the Kangaroo Court. So profound assessment indeed. Okay, well that's offense number one. We'll come back and rank each of these at the end of the segment. Let's move on to the second offense. Sunday's game was at Thomas Jefferson High School, and there's plenty to be said about the field. Deep backstop, haven't cut the grass in the outfield. As an outfielder, long grass, ground balls die before they get out to you. But I think one thing that many members of the team took umbrage with was the bullpens at least in our dugout. Maybe it's because we arrived second and we got the second choice of dugouts. But down the third base line, the bullpen there, one still tarped, two, and not even tarped. It was like half tarp, like tarp half on, like one stake out of the ground, tarp like flapping in the breeze. I think there was some like water under there, in all sorts of disrepair. So where am I going with this grievance? Well, none other than Patriots pitcher Nick Richards, former coach at Thomas Jefferson High School. And there's a movement afoot that Nick Richards should be held accountable for the egregious state of the bullpens at Thomas Jefferson High School, even after his tenure on the baseball staff. Luke, where do you fall on the statute of limitations in a case like this? Does Nick Richards have any responsibility here?
I think this offense in itself is exactly what the Kangaroo Court is all about. Is it Nick's fault? Should he have shown up early and made sure the field was tarped? Should he have raked it? Should he be personally accountable for it? Probably not. But does he deserve a fine for it? 100%. By having any association with Thomas Jefferson High School assumes a responsibility that the field's conditions need to be perfect every single time the Patriots take them out there, whether or not he's been a coach there in the last 10 years or not. I think that fine is 100% worthy.
What about the thinking that he's left, but he should leave a legacy with the other coaches, the other groundskeepers there, kind of paying it forward? He should leave it better than he found it, and instill this sense of pride. And what kind of coach was he really if they aren't taking care of the bullpen mound 10 years later? Begs the question. I think a lot more questions than answers in this case, and certainly begs for deeper probing investigation. And I think we'll put that on the docket for a subsequent episode of This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. But for the time being, there will be a ruling on this here today. So, okay, let's move on to the third offense. Historic Sunday afternoon at Thomas Jefferson High School for reasons besides the unkempt nature of the bullpens. Shaun McEnheimer, not one, but two, no doubt about it, home runs in the big Patriots win. Lots of good banter post-game in the dugout. And the conversation goes to, surely this has never happened before in Patriots history. It's rare, really, that we even hit that many home runs, a single home run in a game. And out of nowhere, Jeff Pyatt, veteran, longtime Patriot, Jeff Pyatt pipes in, "Oh yeah, you guys remember that time I hit 2 home runs?" Blank stares throughout the dugout. And then he starts to recap it. He wasn't sure on the dates and the specifics, which, if I hit 2 home runs, if I hit a home run in a game, I'm remembering the specifics. Pyatt was light on details. I also add to that, Patriots historian, of course, and manager, Keith Fischer, was in attendance. No recollection of Jeff Pyatt ever hitting 2 home runs. Mike Mayer served a stint as Patriots manager, also in attendance. No recollection. I've been on the Patriots for over a decade. No recollection. I'm not really sure what Pyatt's motivation was here. He's usually a team-first guy, but it felt like he was raining a little bit on Shaun's parade. And kind of rubbed folks the wrong way. So, Luke, where do you fall on something like this? Perhaps conveniently misremembering one's own accolades, or perhaps something more nefarious.
I have to say, one, congratulations to Shaun. It's quite a feat.
Indeed.
And the other thing I want to point out here is that neither Keith, which you highlighted, neither Keith nor Mike could recall this. And if Keith and Mike agree that no one landed on the moon, I think I'd have to side with them. So number one, you're going against him. My reputation's there. Number two, this doesn't sound at all dissimilar to a typical Jeff Pyatt Sunday afternoon. And number three, the guy hit 2 home runs. Even if it did happen in the past, let him have his day in the sun, you know?
What do you think? Do you think he's like misremembering from, like a beer league softball game, or from, glory years in high school?
Sometimes you're not actually lying when you believe it's the truth. And I think Jeff hit home runs. I know I was there to witness a few. So I'm competing in the home run derby. He's definitely a power hitter. I think he did hit home runs in the past, and I think he might have. It might sound a little better in his head if he hit 2 in one day, and over the course of time, maybe he became more and more likely that he hit 2 in one day, and then 10 years later, he kind of convinced himself to fact. So maybe Jeff's not actually lying. Maybe he just convinced himself that he did hit 2 home runs in one day, and maybe down the road, when there's a 3 home run game in the Patriots' history, maybe Jeff will also claim to have done that.
Well, that would really be something. Well, as it sounds like in this case, and really with Zach and with Nick, as with most of these things, it sounds like the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, and these things maybe can and should be graded on some sort of scale. But the middle ground is not what the Patriots Kangaroo Court is all about. The Kangaroo Court is about doling out justice swiftly, perhaps egregiously, but make no mistake about it, definitively and with great finality. So, Zach's hair, Nick Richards' bullpens, Jeff Pyatt's home runs with an asterisk, allegedly. Where do you land on these 3 offenses? Upon whom are you levying the $1 fine?
So it really came down to 2 options here for the $1 amount, and I think I might surprise a couple people here and not choose the bullpen one. But the $1 fine here to me is Zach's hat. Like I said before, the fact that he grew the flow and he committed to it and he stuck to it, I think that earned some merit. The Kangaroo Court is a lot about bravery and justice and integrity, and Zach showed a lot of that with his hair. Now, the fine here actually is not the hat falling off. The fine here is that the opposing pitcher having longer hair than Zach and keeping his hat on for the entirety of his outing. I think that juxtaposition in itself automatically gives Zach a fine. But, again, not for the flow. The flow is great. Keep the flow. If you now cut the flow, you are subject to fine.
Ah, wow. The double-edged sword. That's an intriguing conundrum that Zach now finds himself in. Also of note, not only did the opposing pitcher's hat never fall off, that guy is a workhorse. I was sitting next to Keith keeping the book between innings. That guy was approaching like 120 pitches by the time he came out, and he must do something with his hat because it stayed on flawlessly throughout. So it can be done. Okay, so Zach is levied the $1 fine. Who takes your $2 fine?
So for me, the $2 fine here has got to go to Nick Richards and his mound. Not only does he have a responsibility for everything that happens in Thomas Jefferson baseball from now until forever, but he especially has a responsibility of taking care of that mound. And not only was the bullpen mound atrocious from what I hear, but it was also the game mound, which was not in tip-top shape. So I think the only fair thing to do here is to assess $1 per mound. Giving you 2 mounds and $2.
Every once in a while, there is a method to the madness of the Kangaroo Court.
There is a method. Is it consistent? Probably not. But did you enjoy it? Hopefully.
Yeah, it's consistent in its inconsistency. Okay, well, that by process of elimination, and I think our listeners and our viewers will probably agree with you on this ruling, but would love to hear your rationale behind the highest $3 fine going to Jeff Pyatt. You heard the background. How did you arrive at this fine for Jeff Pyatt?
Well, for number one, I think I'd probably be kicked off all future podcasts if I didn't make this the most egregious, highest finable offense on the given list. That's for sure. Number two, I mean, this just screams Patriots baseball and Jeff Pyatt in a nutshell. I mean,
Yes.
Shaun McEnheimer clobbering 2 home runs, and I bet they weren't fence scrapers either. No surprise in anyone there. And then, actually, the only thing that would make this more Patriots baseball would be if Billy Schultz somehow missed the first 2 home runs. Somehow he had his back turned, or he was late to the field because he thought it was at a different high school, or there needs to be a little bit of a Billy Schultz tie in this. Otherwise, I think it would pull in that trifecta. But
Billy Schultz was a late scratch. Funny that you mentioned that. And
I can't wait for the reasoning either.
This was not part of a pre-production call, folks. This is spontaneous podcasting right here. Luke did not know that Billy was not there, but indeed, Billy was not there. Late scratch. So yes, he did not get to witness these 2 majestic home runs, nor the audacious claims from Pyatt during the postgame.
Yeah, that would have been the trifecta, but it almost makes me feel better that Billy wasn't there. Is that selfish? I don't know. It might be, but if I couldn't have witnessed it, I'm glad Billy couldn't either.
Well, Luke, this has been fantastic. Good to catch up with you. Great to hear your voice. Glad that you're doing well. And most of all, I think it's great for myself and Patriots fans to know you've not lost the edge of the Kangaroo Court. That was on full display here in today's podcast. So very much appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us.
Yeah, no, the pleasure is all mine. Like I said, and good luck the rest of the way. I miss every one of you guys, and go out there and win a ring.
Luke, thanks again for the time. Really appreciate you stopping by, and we'd love to have you back on the show later this season if you're up to it.
I'd love to.
That was longtime Patriot, again, once a Patriot, always a Patriot, Luke Mirabella on the Kangaroo Court. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Reminder, the Patriots are off this coming weekend for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Back in action on Sunday, June 6th, against the defending champion Flying Squirrels. That's at Oakton, 10:05, first pitch. Gates open at 10 a.m. sharp. Again, that's a marquee matchup early in the season against the defending champion Flying Squirrels. In the meantime, do us a favor here at the podcast. Rate, review, subscribe, and share. Heck, leave a comment down below if you agree, disagree with one of the rulings in the Kangaroo Court. Let us know. If you know what happens to a quality at-bat that ends in a walk, let us know in the comments down below. And hey, you might even get featured on an upcoming episode of This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. For all of us here at the Washington Patriots, I'm your host, Chad Kurz. Have a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day holiday weekend. And until the next time we can all be together, don't forget to try your best. So long, everybody.